Silence. I can be able to run this program. My name is Boncho Mukaila. I'm the to direct this program for tonight. And this is the third session of morning, you had some opportune moment to really reflect in terms of biodiversity within the Northwest Province and so on. Let me take this opportunity then to greet the Honorable Premier of the Northwest Province, Ramokhosi. Let me also take this opportunity to greet Honorable MEC for Economic Development, Mebitsa Lenkopane. Di Khosi tsa rona tse di fano, Khosi Pilane. Ma councilora di MMCs tse tsotlhe tse di fano, le tsone ke a di dumedisa. I also see a representation of board members from Northwest Parks Board and Parks and Tourism Board. I've also seen some CEOs, officials from the national and the provincial departments, distinguished guests. I greet you all again once more. And I'm going to, in opening and making, opening this event tonight, the dinner, I'm going to request MMC for Bunyala District to come and do the official opening of the ceremony.
Bakhulu, greetings to the present leadership, Honorable Premier, MECs, Dikhosis, councillors, officials, community. My name is MMC Mohammed Karani. I'm here to represent our Honorable Mayor of Bojanala Platinum District Municipality. She's not available, she's got other commitments. So I'm addressing the wonderful crowd again. I was in the morning here, everybody knows me. And I hope you had a wonderful day today. And it was a learning experience for everybody. Biodiversity is a different kind of life that you'll find in one area. Variety of animals, plants, something wrong here. Like an interaction web to maintain balance and support life, the Northwest Province recognizes that a healthy and functional natural environment is central to achieving a vibrant and sustainable society and economy. This includes the protection of biodiversity, the protection of critical biodiversity areas for land and water, respond effectively to climate change, avoidance, mitigation, and adoption. Sustaining ecosystems using natural resources effectively and preparing for climate change. The Northwest Biodiversity Sector Plan in the PDP, the Northwest Provincial firmly recognizes that healthy and wasn't hold it.
1, 2.
Thank you, thank you. Sorry for the short glitch. The Northwest Biodiversity Sector Plan in the BDP, the Northwest Province firmly recognizes that healthy and functioning ecosystems are central to sustainable development. Ecosystems provide essential ecological infrastructure services, such as water provision, and are the foundation of many of the province's economic sectors, such as agricultural, tourism, and wildlife industries. MEC Bojanala Platinum District Municipality commits towards supporting any program that is preserving the environment, building our economy, and creating jobs to address our serious challenges of unemployment and poverty. And earlier on, our MEC has also said that our province is here for business and to develop our communities. So all our lovely entrepreneurs here, that, you know, we're heading the call for our MEC, that our MEC's doors are also open for any programs, and our doors from the Bojanala district are also open, and I'm happy to hear that our MEC is ready to hit the ground, like Tunsa Lirule. We're here to hit the ground and to service our communities. Thank you very much, and have a good evening wherever you're traveling as well. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Councillor Mohammed Karan. Ladies and gentlemen, let me take again this opportunity to acknowledge the presence of the MEC for Community Safety and Transport, Reva Salmurweng, Rahwa Mogela Mungwaka, tlhotsa ntse e na le maoto a mane. Okay, now ladies and gentlemen, we are going to, because we started very behind schedule or time, so we are going to really now exchange our views in terms of, you know, the presentations that are going to be rendered by different stakeholders and so on. And we are fortunate that tonight in our midst we do have women that are involved in game farming. And we are going to then take the first presentation or speech from Mayor Mempo Matope, who's involved in game farming as a woman. Aremo Amogele Mbagaitso. Mempo.
Good evening, Honorable Premier, Mokgotsi, Honorable MEC for DDET, Mepisa Lenkopane, Honorable MEC of Kosatma, MEC Mureng, mayors present here, speakers, and Mahosi Aruna, distinguished guests, fellow beneficiaries, government representative, and friends of the wildlife industry, all protocol observed. It is both a privilege and an honor to stand before you today as a proud beneficiary of the Democratic South Africa's land reform program, particularly within the wildlife sector. I want to thank the Department of Land Reform, Northwest Government, and all stakeholders for their commitment to transform this important industry. Without these initiatives, many of us would not be standing on this platform, carving out our place in an industry that was historically closed to so many. For the longest time, women in many wildlife-rich African nations did not work in safari tourism due to the perception that it is a man's world or a man's job. Right now, women are breaking barriers. They are paving the way for others, especially our youth. I was so impressed during the day when we had one of the young ladies who is in this industry, and she said she's busy with her PhD. We really have to applaud the democratic government, because if it wasn't through our democracy, we wouldn't be having such, especially for our girl children. We are working, women are working, we used to work as guides, security officers, my bad. Women are currently in this industry working as security guards, executive chefs, guides, and lodge managers, including some of us, like me, a farm owner, game farm owner, through this government of our republic. My interest in this industry started when I was Vice President for Consumer Marketing for SA Tourism, being based in their New York office. When in the 90s, I was tasked by the then Minister of Tourism, Mr. Vali Musa, to penetrate the African-American market. Because when you do a research, for them, South Africa was taking 3 days to come to South Africa, as opposed to them going to Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, and all that. And everyone in here would agree with me that we are a world in one country with exceptional opportunities and the experience. Our people, the cuisine, the culture, the history are the unique selling points of this country. Therefore, one of the programs I came with was to bring opinion leaders in the country. And I approached urban radio stations within big cities, your Los Angeles, Atlanta, Chicago, New York, where I urged them to bring their morning drive shows to South Africa, and they were traveling with their listeners who were witnessing the real thing and telling it back to their communities. And it didn't only bring radio stations, we also did TV station morning shows, broadcasting from, say, Kruger. And my interest was, one morning, we all witnessed a lion devouring its prey. I'm sorry. Devouring, I can't remember what animal it was. So, and I said, you know, one day, should I go back to, because initially I didn't have intentions of coming back home. Should I decide to go back home, I want to get into the game farming experience and have things like this. Hence, when you went to Mala Mala, Sabi Sabi, etc., you would find that it was, without being racial or whatever, or be misconstrued, it was white, male dominated. There were no black women guides, whatever the industry has in that sector. So we felt that when I go back home, I'll change that. So in 2019, I was lying on a bed in Victoria Hospital sick, and one of my colleagues came to bring me newspapers, and I found the advert for the farm Groenfontein where I am a beneficiary at. And I said, oh, okay, my dream is being realized. I was back in the country then, back home. So it has been a very good experience, very tough. Being a woman, I have to prove myself 10 times. I remember even the former farmer, when he came, because my current boardroom, I've transformed that place. My current boardroom, he used it for darts. But with me and my vision, I felt that no, this could be my boardroom or an event room where I could hold, because it's the farm, it's a boutique. Without blowing my own horn, it is a boutique establishment, 4-star graded. So I remember Vieka saying when he came, they were delivering the boardroom furniture and the people were busy with curtains. He said, so you have big dreams for this place? I said, yes. And he said, you know, the time when you guys came to view the type of questions that you were asking, I was praying that this should be the woman that gets the farm. So to cut the whole story short, I felt that I needed to be hands-on because I knew nothing about game farming. And fortunately, my neighbor is very, very supportive. I ask him about a whole lot of things. If I remember the other time, without the game farm, I also have Nguni cattle. One of my cows had given birth and the calf couldn't suck. And I said, Fanny, I have a problem. He came, took my calf to his place, said, I'll bring it when it is fit and safe to be able to suck from its mom on its own. And he did that. And I think that is the spirit that we need to have of collaboration, of working together as farmers in this space. Honorable Premier and MECs present here and our leadership, this initiative is the most impactful promotion and cohesion for us to be successful as emerging or previously disadvantaged farmers to enter the space. Oh, my bad. While I'm fortunate to have been a beneficiary of the government's land reform efforts, many women are still struggling to gain access to the land they need to establish wildlife businesses in, be it game farming, ecotourism, or professional hunting. The process of acquiring land is just the beginning. Securing the financing to develop the land, buy animals, build infrastructure, and manage operations is a monumental hurdle. Another challenge is the lack of mentorship and guidance. As women, we often find ourselves isolated with few role models or mentors in this male-dominated industry. We need experienced voices to guide us through the technical aspects of game management, hunting regulations, conservation practices, and the business skills required to run a successful wildlife operation. Cultural and social barriers, societal barriers, also add to the challenges we face. In rural areas where traditional gender roles are deeply entrenched, it can be difficult for women to break through break free from societal expectations, and pursue careers in industries like wildlife. My experience, even when people come to Sibuka Game Lodge, by the way, Sibuka is named after my dad. And in English, Sibuka, it's a gathering place, a meeting place. So when I took over the farm, it was Ashford Lodge, and I said to myself, what a beautiful way of honoring my dad, who raised me when I was 2 years, 3 months. My dad used to put me on his back as a teacher and walk from Sotho section in Rockville, Soweto, to Zulu section, me behind his back, and he says people used to call each other and say, "Ntato Tsiriat." I don't know what is it in English. How do I say it? But I think everyone that understands know. So that's how I felt that I needed to honor my dad for the sacrifice that he did. My dad was an amazing man. So hence Sibuka is under him, named after him. The other challenge that we need to get from government is access to finance, which is very key. It is essential that we have access to affordable credit so as to purchase equipment, improve our roads within our farms, because roads, even roads leading to the farms, are really terrible. When it rains, most gas gets stuck, and I have to use a tractor to go pull them out, which discourages other people. And Honorable Premier, Honorable MECs here, I'm going to plead and urge you to approach Investec. 3 farms from my farm. It's a government-owned property with 5-star runway, 5-star accommodation, and everything. But I have approached them to say, can I overflow to you when I have guests, especially international guests? But they say, no, this is only meant for Investec clients. So please, we need your intervention on that. To other fellow women, I'm saying this is doable. We need to work together, and government has to open the market for us because there is no market, and we also need an extension program whereby we are being guided on how to be successful in the game farming industry, like the Department of Agriculture is doing. I thank you.
Another round of applause for Osimpo. We are going to take now again the second woman who is involved in in game farming as well. Just to introduce her, she is Ms. Lesego Serolong from a company, Holds Up Fell, and she's going to be very topical in describing the harmony of green superpower from Bokoni Bupirima and to the entire globe. Just from the first speaker and presentation, we've been able to realize that we have limited time to drive this program, so I would urge all the other speakers, those that are coming to do a message of support and also do some presentation, we need to also have some control over that duration or the length of the presentation. At least 10 minutes, you should be able, if you can't say it or deliver it in 10 minutes, then there could be something wrong. So just go on the highlights so that we the members or the people could, the audience could follow. So let's welcome Melisego Serolong. Where is she? Oh, there she comes. Le khofi ba gaetso re simula fela ka bo mme ka jeko e tla re go bo ha re tsamela go fetsa kwa ya nebele gona re ka reng bo re ya no ba ka kokona sengwenyana it are immediately after this presentation that the Moji Band or Rebetsa ka Utsikinya.
Okay, no, okay, okay.
Oh, okay. Back up. Oh,
okay, no, Lina ke Lesego Serolong holds up for a company ke holds up for company is holds up for. Okay. It's fine. Honorable Premier of the Northwest, Mr. Mokhosi, MEC Bitaleng Company, Dikhosi tsa rona tsa Bokone Bophirima, esteemed guests, industry leaders, and community representative. Thank you so much for this opportunity. My name is Lesego Serolong Holtzapfel. I'm from Taung, Northwest Province. Grew up in Mafikeng. I actually have a small story to share because the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing is because, you know, when you've been raised in the Northwest Province, you've seen the potential, right? You've seen the opportunity in the Northwest Province. And I studied at a school called Tiger Kloof in the Northwest in Freiburg. And I was very privileged to receive opportunities to study abroad. I did my master's at the London School of Economics. I also did my undergraduate in New York City. But one of the things that really bothered me was the fact that when you are in global countries or in other countries, the way that people relate to Africa was very different. You know, people looked at us as recipients of like aid. And that obviously as someone from Pirima who was raised by, you know, entrepreneurial parents, my grandparents were farmers in Taung. So I've seen the power of the power of industrialization. I've seen the power of job creation through agriculture. And so I wanted to see more in terms of like us changing the narrative from being recipients of like of aid to us actually directly engaging with the West through exporting our commodities. And so I returned back. So after my undergraduate in New York, I returned. One of the passions that I have as well is education. And this is what our Honorable MEC mentioned as well, as they read her biography earlier, that she was a teacher before. And so one of the things that was very close to my heart when I came back was to actually find orphans in the Northwest Province and extend scholarship opportunities for them. And it was roughly around the time when I met Honorable MEC, where I was like, MEC, we're looking for orphans from the Northwest Province, would like to provide them with the opportunities to go to our partner schools, such as the International School of South Africa and other school partners across the country. And she, on her own, volunteered time to go around the different districts from Kagisano Molopo to Taung, all over, to identify those orphans. Now, some of those orphans have gone through high school, they've gone through university, some of them work for companies like KPMG, and others, they went through top universities in the country. And so that has been my passion in terms of someone who's coming from the Northwest and who sees potential. And one of the things also that I saw as well was the potential for us to accelerate trade in the province and making sure that we also focus on young people getting opportunities. So it is a privilege to address you today as we gather to discuss matters of critical importance. So not just for our province, but for the future of our nation. It is indeed the world. I would like to extend my deepest appreciation to the Department of Economic Development and Environment Conservation and Tourism for organizing this important engagement. Our province is uniquely blessed with extraordinary convergence of rich biodiversity, a deep cultural heritage, and a vast untapped economic potential. But to unlock this potential, we must recognize that sustainability is no longer a local concern. It is a global imperative. As the world transitions rapidly towards green economies, the Northwest Province is poised to step forward as a global leader. We have the opportunity to demonstrate the economic growth and environmental stewardship it can not only coexist, but thrive together. The journey to sustainability in the Northwest, however, demands that we engage in a strategic, purposeful partnerships beyond our borders. We must not underestimate the importance of forging strong international relationships. Our ability to build and nurture partnerships with global stakeholders is crucial to our success as a province. From the European Union to the United States, from Africa to Asia, economies across the world are shifting towards greener, more sustainable practices, and as the Northwest, we must be part of those practices and movement. Global markets increasingly demand sustainable sourced products and eco-friendly services, as we see in EU. When people buy products, they want to know what's the environmental impact, and I think we do have a strong position as a province to play in that space. By partnering with international organizations, governments, and businesses, we can meet these standards and access the growing market. In doing so, we position the Northwest Province as a compelling destination for investment, innovation, and trade. However, as we pursue global partnership and economic growth, we must ensure that no one is left behind. The biodiversity economy we are building must be inclusive. I think one thing that I loved about the conversations earlier is that there is a need for integration, and we need to see the trickle-down effect. We don't just want to see the same people benefiting. We want to see our communities talking about transformation and how they're benefiting. Rural-based small businesses, in particular, must be central to our vision for sustainable future. I spend a lot of time engaging with governments from different countries all over the world, and I still drive the same conversation about trade. When we go to trade shows all over the world, I cannot help but see my heart sink when I don't see entities from the Northwest Province represented. You usually see a lot of companies from the Western Cape, Gauteng, Durban, or KZN, but I think we need to be very strategic about making sure that we actually bring our entrepreneurs forward, especially small businesses. And I was also glad that the representative from DTIC asked that question. We need to find ways to put statistics together where we can track real impact. So, however, as we pursue global partnerships and economic growth, we must ensure that no one is left behind. So these businesses are often the custodians of traditional knowledge and practices that promote sustainability. Incorporating rural entrepreneurs, farmers, and small enterprises into the green economy is essential, not just for equity, but for long-term success for our biodiversity strategy. I was also happy to hear the young ostrich farmer, talk about his desire for market access. One of the key things that I've realized is that when you talk to buyers overseas, you know, they have specific things, commodities that they're looking at. I think we need to also rethink our approach as to how we encourage our young people to export. Key to market access is very, very critical, especially when we are investing resources to our young people. I also met a young lady here who is interested in beekeeping. They are sunflower growers. And obviously, one of the things that I love about beekeeping is that it actually diversifies sources of income for our people. So she came up to me, she's like, oh, we have 20 young people who are eager to be beekeepers. Is there a way we can work together? And I said, I don't know how, but everybody else who can help you or help your cooperative is in this room. So these are the things that really excite us in terms of like how we can move forward as a province. With the right support, these small businesses can contribute to local and international value chains, ensuring that the economic benefits of sustainability are shared equitably across our province. By collaborating with global partners, we can provide rural businesses with resources, technologies, and access to markets that they need to thrive. Also, earlier on, one of the CPA members raised the question about how they can practically tap into opportunities. We heard from the land reform representatives earlier that there's over 6,000 hectares of land that's sitting there. So, you know, practical solutions such as beekeeping, I mean, there's a huge demand in terms of on the export side of things for the export of honey. Those are some of the practical opportunities that we should immediately tap into as a province. One of the most concrete ways we can leverage global partnership is through expansion of our sustainable export industries. There is a growing international demand for ethically sourced, environmentally friendly products, and our agricultural sector in particular stands to benefit, like I mentioned, honey and many other high-value crops like pecans and citrus, growing as sustainable methods and highly sought after international markets. Partnerships with global organizations that certify and promote sustainable agriculture will be vital in providing the tools and credibility we need to access these markets. By aligning ourselves with international partners that I've mentioned earlier, we can not only boost exports, but elevates the Northwest profile as a global leader in green and ethical production. Rural-based businesses will play a significant role in this effort by contributing locally sourced, sustainably grown. We heard about some of the commodities that people are growing, like aloe vera, and other medicinal plants. These businesses can help position the Northwest province as a hub for sustainable exports, further integrating our rural communities into broader global economy. I was at the AGOA engagement in Washington in July, and for one of the key messages that came out of the AGOA engagement was that we need to see integration of rural people in the value chain, especially when it comes to like export, especially when it comes to women that are exporting to America. It's just unfortunate that not many of our young people, especially from rural areas, and women are participating in the benefits of AGOA. So strategically, we need to come up with plans that would enable our young people to export to countries like the United States with great trade policies. Tourism is another key sector where international partnerships can drive ecotourism. It's no longer just a trend, it's a global movement. More and more travelers are seeking experiences that contribute to conservation and support local communities. With its rich biodiversity and cultural heritage, the Northwest province is uniquely positioned to become a top destination for eco-conscious tourists. To fully maximize this potential as a province, we must collaborate with international tourism bodies, ecotourism networks, and conservation organizations. By forming strategic alliances, we can create sustainable tourism models that attract high-value visitors while ensuring that the benefits flow directly into preserving our natural resources and uplifting our communities. Again, rural-based small businesses have a crucial role to play, and I told you earlier that I'm very, very passionate about rural-based businesses. By developing eco-friendly lodges, guiding services, and I'm glad that MEC Bizaling Kopane talked about women-owned or lodges that are owned by communities in our area here, and maximizing on booking and all of that. So rural entrepreneurs can offer unique tourism experiences that benefit both their communities and the environment. If we truly position ourselves as global leaders as a province, innovation must be at the heart of our strategy. Around the world, green technologies are driving a new era of economic growth. The Northwest province has the potential to become a hub for green innovation in Africa, but we cannot do it alone. Hence, we talked about public-private partnerships in order for us to achieve this. We must collaborate with global investors, researchers, entrepreneurs in fields such as renewable energy, wildlife conservation, and sustainable agriculture. These partnerships will allow us to adopt cutting-edge technologies that enhance conservation efforts, reduce our carbon footprint, and create new opportunities for job creation. To elevate our stand in the global stage, we must also actively participate in international forums where sustainability and economic growth are discussed. And as much as we can plan and come up with strategies, we need to find ourselves in those rooms. We need to host events on the sidelines of UNGA. We need to host events on the sidelines of the annual meetings happening right now in Washington, D.C. So we need to go out there and engage with people. South Africa's position as a leading economy on the African continent provides us with unique opportunities to engage in platforms such as the G20, as our Honorable MEC mentioned earlier, and AGOA. Our relationship with the European Union in particular offers tremendous potential. As our largest economic partner, the EU is committed to advancing the bioeconomy and sustainability worldwide. By strengthening our dialogue with the EU stakeholders, we can attract bioeconomy investment that will drive economic growth while protecting our biodiversity. Lastly, our province stands at the cusp of green revolution, one that will benefit not just our local economy, but the global effort to combat climate change and preserve biodiversity. But we cannot achieve this alone. Therefore, I call on all of us, government officials, industry leaders, community stakeholders to work together to strengthen our global ties. Let us forge partnerships that allow us to learn from the world's best practices, attract international investments, and elevate the Northwest Province as a global leader. And as we do so, let us ensure that rural-based businesses, again, are the backbone of our communities, are central to our vision for a sustainable, prosperous future. Northwest, the world is watching us, and it is time now for Bokone Bophirima to take its place as on the global stage as a beacon of sustainable growth, innovation, and environmental stewardship. This is the end of my speech. We have built a factory. We have built a factory in Taung that builds beehives. We build beehives. We also buy back all the honey that is produced by our beekeepers. We train beekeepers. Honey is one of the green gold of the economy, and whenever we engage with buyers overseas, whether it's in America or Europe, there's always a demand for honey. As you know, South Africa is one of the top, it's a net importer of honey. So therefore, I would encourage, as we're thinking about strategies, putting beekeeping in the forefront of one, impacting our environment, but also creating sustainable job opportunities for our people. Thank you very much.
Re lebogile thata Melesego Holzapfel ke ba akanye sentle ke ne ke hositse nna ne ke nana re ke company so mochibent a go re tshamekele pina ka nna ile o se tla re morago ga fo e be re tswela ka program ya rona gape.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You don't seem fine. I found love for me. Darling, just dive right in, follow my lead. Well, I found a girl, beautiful and sweet. Well, I never knew you were someone waiting for me. 'Cause we were just kids when we fell in love, not knowing what it was. I wanna give you up this time. Darling, just kiss me slow. Your heart is all I own, and in your eyes you're more than mine. With you between my arms, barefoot on the grass, listening to our favorite song. When you said you looked a mess, I whispered underneath my breath. You heard it, telling you look perfect tonight. When sweep you off of your feet? Will your mouth still remember the taste of my love? Will your eyes still smile from the cheeks? So darling, I will be loving you till we're 70. Just maybe my heart could still fall as hard at 23. I'm thinking about how people fall in love in mysterious ways. Baby, just a touch of my hand. Me, I fall in love with you every single day. I just wanna show you I am. Honey, now, take me into loving house. Kiss me under the light of my house and stars. Place your hand on my beating heart. I'm thinking out loud. Come on, baby, deep down love, right where we are. When my hands are but gone and the memory fades, and the crowds don't remember my name. When my hands on there, the strings the same way. I know you will still love me the same. 'Cause honey, your soul could never grow all it's ever been. And baby, your smile is forever in my mind and memory. I'm thinking about how people fall in love in mysterious ways. Baby, that's just part of the plan. Me, I fall in love with you every single day. I just wanna show you I am. 'Cause baby, now take me into your loving house. Kiss me under the light of my house and stars. Oh, darling, let your head on my beating heart. I'm thinking out loud. 'Cause baby, we found love right where we baby, now take me into your loving house. Kiss me under the light of my house and stars. Oh, darling, place your head on my beating heart. I'm thinking out loud. 'Cause baby, we found love right where we are. One time. Ever we found love right where we are. And we found love right where we are.
That was Moji Band. Areba Fenle Khofi Bahaitsu. Reolo o na o pela le falo le lene o tlhaga go matlosan go ke tlhagante. Yeah. Just imagine. Talente ko matlosan. Now, distinguished guests, we are continuing with our program now. We are We had a little bit of entertainment, and now we are going to be taking messages of support that would come from different stakeholders. There will also be presentations that are going to be taking place. So without any waste of time, Mr. Jafta Rapadu, and from organization People and the Parks, is driving some of the programs within the biodiversity program at national and even within the province. Dr. Jafta, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Dumelang bagaetsho. Dumelang bagaetsho. Ke tota ke le under pressure. The speakers tse di tlileng before me. Le ka realize gore ba tlhaga go mose. Yaanong ke tla leka gore ke baakanye leleme la ka. Program Director, Your Excellency Motlotlesi Mokhosi, the two distinguished MEC present in here, Motlotlesi Khosi Pilane, board members, and the chairperson of the board present here, HOD, Chief Director, and Tate Matibe, Memusue, the acting chairperson of People and Parks, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, dumelang gape. Reponso Dr. Irile Khotswafa wa ipolela gore wena o tswa kae. Ke batla go ipolela bagaetsho gore ke tswa kae. This place e le mo yone e le bitsang Sun City. Ntetle Khosi Pilane gore ki bue ka wena. Ntate wa garre Khosi o re nang le ene o sale anna le vision le professor engwe ko the University of Poch. Banna fo fatshe around 1970. Ba re go tlhokega gore go nne le tulo e bitswang Sun City. Me ga re etse fela e tshwantswe e nne le game reserve next to it. Me ba tlhokomela gore at that stage it means go na le di community tse tshwantswe di tlosiwe gore e tle go nne le that establishment e ka je go re e bitsang the Pilansberg Game Reserve. E tshwaragane le establishment e bitswang Sun City re le mo yone. Unfortunately, in 1979, I had to make way for this establishment le bonang ka jeko yana. Ke sale ka ntsiwa physically ka ilo bewa gore go nnele this establishment. Ke kopa o make so seo because I'm going somewhere. Now, rona as People and Parks bagaetsho in this occasion, leverage a sources one fella, which is the land. We are established because of one act, the Native Act, is it 1913? Yes. Go tloga fo rebo gatsu ga ka go recognize. Go nna le Restitution Act. Eleng gore e ka motlase ga Commissioner Bogatsu. Now, Commissioner Bogatsu bagaetsho a re fa di title tse re nang le tsone ka jeko. But unfortunately bagaetsho, we couldn't do anything with that land. Finally, what we call a protected act. If empower the MEC, empower the premier, gore ba tseye lefatshe leo, ba etse gore le benefit everybody in this province. And today, bagaetsho, re batla go pledge once again. Re na le lefatshe ke ile bagaetsho, as communities, le leng under our title. As we go through this biodiversity, as we repeal this act, ra kopa bagaetsho once again, let us go back and make sure that we go without fail, we go and fight our poverty, inequality, and joblessness with this land. Once again, reconsider this land mo go wena MEC, reconsider this land mo go wena premier. Please go and make sure that Bokone Bophirima ka mafatshe a ha gona so se ba se bitsang poverty. Re thuseng bagaetsho ra nyelela ke poverty. Re thuseng ka tlotlo le boikokobetso. Re tlile mo once again to pledge those land. Re tlile mo once again to make sure that rona jaaka re le di land owners, rona bagaetsho jaaka baagi ba Bokone Bophirima anko re benefite mo mafatsheng a bagaetsho. Make it possible bagaetsho, go lata bagaetsho, make it possible. We've been here since 2003, Rebogatso, Geradi settlement. So far, nothing. La bona ga le bone sepe fa bagaetsho, a gona sepe. So ke ikopela bagaetsho, we are once again, it's a pledge from us as communities. My communities are here. It's once again, we are pleading with the officials, we are pleading with everybody to make it a point that we ensure that there is change going forward from today. Na ke helela hao bagaetsho, ke a leboga.
Ra go leboga gape Re Rapatu from People's and the Parks, and re utlwile gore o sida le hatse ya no re tla nna ntse re shebile spaces yo. Bagaetsho ra tswelela yaanong message of support wa bobedi ke o yang go tlhaga ko la itsore the role ya di traditional leaders more biodiversity is highly acknowledged and recognized. So we are fortunate and to have in our midst tonight Khosi ya rona, Khosi Nyalala Pilane o ile gore le ene o tlo go fana ka message of support. Yana ke re ba gaetsho ntetlang fela gore ke khone go mo tsa mo se ke mmafa seraleng fa. Khosi re ka o ka bua le setšhaba.
Ke a leboga go leboga re motsamaisa tiro ya gompieno ke leboga bogolo thata le go lemoga go nna teng ga batlotlegi ba rona motlotlegi Tonakgolo Lazarus Mokgosi Bakhuduthamaga mme Bitsaleng Kopane le Re Vessels Morweng baemedi ba puso bo bo leng teng, botsamaisi, HODs, senior managers, the director, botlhe fela ke a le lemoga batho betso. Ke lemoge gape botsamaisi ba biodiversity, the captains of the industry, and all protocol observed. Ke rata go leboga gore gompieno e be re kgona go kopana jaana re buisana ka kganye ya biodiversity ka gore le ge re bitsa ka sekgowa ke bophelo ba rona. Ga gona gope ka o ka fitlhelang batho ba phela le diphologolo le naga e ntse sentle kwa ntle ga mo magaeng. Ko ditoropong o tshwanelwa ke gore o reke ditlhare o di jale, mo gae mo ga re reke ditlhare di teng. Sa rona fela ko re di tlhokomele, re se ka ra di fisa thata ka gore re bereka ka mollo rona. Ebile re rutile le ba ko makeišeneng gore ba fise le dikontiri. Mme gona go bua nnete ba gaetsho, I once argued with the captains of the industry, but long time ago, more than 30 years. Re ba tlhalosetsa gore ga ba ka ke ba re ruta ka diphologolo le ka naga, ka gore tsa bona ba di jele, ke tsa rona fela sentse di le teng mo magaeng. That is why when you want to do a biodiversity business, you've got to come to the rural communities. The other thing that I also want to highlight and advise to our leadership, ke gore a re tlogeleng gore our land is not valuable. It is because we have not been able to plan it properly. Ga gona lefatshe le le senang value ba gaetsho. Lefatshe le na le value go ya fela le gore wena o batla go le dirisa jang. Ke ne ke bua le HOD motshegare, ke mo file a little bit of a lecture about how to add value to the land. Jaanong re kopa gore a re tshwaraganeng ba gaetsho, rona jaaka le ne le utlwa Rra Phadua bua, ga re bolo go tswella re ntse re itse gore lefatshe le tshwantse le re phedise, mme re tseneletswe ke batho ba e ba feleletsa e nna rona re sokolang. Ke ka moo re reng rona re ready to take this program forward ya biodiversity, really part of the process so that everybody can earn benefit out of this land. Go feta foo ba gaetsho ke gore a re tshwaragane re tsweleng pele. Ke a leboga, ke lebogetse the initiative ya the department le our provincial government to involve and engage us in order to plan way forward. Thank you very much. Ke a leboga.
Ne le kgosi ya rona ya bakgatla, kgosi Pilane. Ga ke batle go tswella ka lecture ga ke a go emisa fela fa yona ke na ke tsena mo go yona mare ya no ba gaetso biodiversity ina le mafaratlhatlha, it's got technology tse dintsi fela ya no. We are just going to take another presentation, the first presentation e leng gore tlhaga from the National Department ya rona ya Forestry and Fishery, and ya go dirwa ke Mekatedi Manso. Nekere fela, let's welcome her to the podium by way of an applause so that she can render the presentation. Mera Manso. Out there. Ke bona mme mongwe wa tsamaya ko morago kwa ke I have a strong suspicion gore ke o Hassan. Mme Mansu, are you around? Otherwise we move on. Ga ke mmone fa mara re tsene mo mafaratlhatlheng yaanong a biodiversity economy. We are going to be crossing live to Cyprus. Is it Cyprus or is it Texas, Mr. Denga? Cyprus, where we are going to be receiving now, a presentation by one of the wildlife veterans who's been here in the province for quite some time, but now I think he's starting to move backwards towards home in Cyprus, but he wants to also add some value and demonstrate how wildlife initiatives could be rendered in the Northwest Province. Let's cross over live. Are you ready, Mr. Denga? Okay. We can still applaud him even if we go live.
Good evening, everybody. In order to save time, I'm going to say all protocols observed. No disrespect, just think we need to move on. My name is Stefan Fanas. I'm the CEO of Le Croc, and I've been invited to come and talk to you to demonstrate a value-add model in the crocodile industry. So the company is Le Croc. We farm at Brits, just north of Maribeng, and sorry, I can't see there. So basically our operations started off as a farm. We then built an abattoir, and then we started a tannery, and then we moved on to manufacturing, and we're now into retail, and we have retail stores. So we just quickly want to tell you the story, and hopefully it will inspire some of you to move on so that we can look at value add and beneficiation. Can you just, so we'll just play a short video. Unfortunately, we don't have sound, but just give you an overview of the operations. So that would be our tannery. We have our breeders. So basically we do the whole value chain from the breeders, egg collection. From egg collection we obviously incubate, rear the animals, slaughter, and then we go to the next step, is tannery. When I started in the industry, it was a raw skin. There was no skins beneficiated in South Africa. And after a couple of years, we decided to give it a go. And today we're one of the recognized tanners, and we export both raw crust leather as well as finished leather, and we support the local industry to make product in South Africa from our own skins, produced in South Africa. Sorry, we lost a bit of sound there, but we just give you an illustration of the raw skins, going through the process and the different process of tanning and the value add we do to the skins. So the general model is that your highest value skins with the less defects tends to be exported to France and Italy, where it end up with the big fashion houses, the Gucci's, the Louis Vuittons, the Hermeses, And then the second grade skins, which are still perfect skins for manufacture, then gets normally exported to countries like China and other Asian countries, as well as Mexico, USA for the boot market. And I think that's where the opportunity lies for us, to rather focus on using our leathers and beneficiate our leathers in South Africa. So this is just to give you an overview of the operations. It's a very capital intensive operation. It takes years to establish, and we also we're under severe attack at one stage from the animal rights groups. The industry got together, we formed an international association for crocodilian farmers. We wrote our standards, we appointed international auditors, and we are now audited according to international standards. And that's something that the wildlife industry will have to attend to as well in order to get your product accepted into the international market. That will certainly be a recommendation. We're lucky in that we had a value chain that is relatively small, so we managed to get the big players involved. We got some other farmers involved from America, from Australia. We formed our association, and I'm proud to say that Le Croc was one of the founding members of the International Crocodilian Farmers Association. And today you cannot sell your skins into Europe unless you're a member of ICFA and unless you're audited by an international set of auditors and receive your accreditation. We built an abattoir which is suited for Europe for exports. We've done a bit of exports, but given the volumes, it's not economical, so we service the local market, and it's a market that's picked up quite a lot. There's quite a lot of demand, and in fact, at the moment, the industry can't supply the demand in the market. So the meat generates about 20% of the total revenue of a crocodile, depending on the quality of the skin, of course. I'm just going to jump back here. All right. So after tanning the skins, we ventured into manufacturing. We acquired a company by the name of Lorenzi. Some of you might remember Lorenzi. Lorenzi has been around since 1962. It was started by an Italian immigrant family that for 2 generations manufactured handbags in South Africa. And it was one of the most prominent luxury brands in South Africa before the big brands and the international fashion houses entered South Africa. We're still operating out of Lanseria. Got a small team of manufacturing there, which we want to leverage up into a bigger operation. We've got stores in the waterfront and in Nelson Mandela Square. It used to be a much bigger operation, and we want to restore it back to that level. And then something I want to share with you, what I've learned out of when you start entering the value chain and you start getting into all these different disciplines, is that you must look for partnerships. Look for other people that have a requirement for your service of your product and see how you can work together. So recently we've entered into a partnership with a designer. It's a Dutch lady by the name of Kat van Dijnen. She's been in the business for 15 years. And I'm just going to show you, and what I loved about her approach is her love for animals and her love for culture and heritage, and how she feels that we should build an African luxury brands in South Africa and not just follow the Western culture and luxury from France and Italy. So this is one of Kat's promotions of a particular product range that she launched at one stage. And as you can see, the emphasis is is on animals and using products from animals and bring it into fashion, where obviously the higher you can go up into the fashion, the better the price, the higher the quality, the more innovative, the more design orientated, the more fashion it becomes too. So I think this is a fantastic role model for other people to follow, and it's certainly a collaboration that we're very interested in to take forward. And this links back to biodiversity, it links back to wildlife, and it's unique to Africa. There's actually another video that I wanted to play. Just to come back to the discussion points, I was asked to come up with some suggestions on how government can support the value chains and the beneficiations. And I think certainly one of the areas where we are encountering or having problems is in South Africa is the skills development programs dedicated for very specific industries. We have to become more specialized. So at the moment there's lots of fashion schools in South Africa, but there's not one leather manufacturing school. There were a number of schools overseas, most of them has closed down, and this is an area where I think once someone has acquired the basic skills of fashion and design, there should be something for them to venture into leather manufacturing and pick up skills in that area. And we need to look at supporting our talented young people with bursaries and learnerships and develop something, a career for people along those lines. I think something that is also in short supply and where there's capacity, lack of capacity in the local market is factories that can assist, because not everybody can be farmers, not everybody can be manufacturing, but you can have wonderful designers and they need someone to make product for them. So the product pull into the value chain comes from the designers. The designers see the opportunity. The designers then design product and want to sell the product, but they got no access to manufacturing and they got no access to the raw materials. So once you create this manufacturing hubs that has the skill, that can make white label, that can make branded product for other people, you will start developing the beneficiation chain very quickly. All right. Something that I've also learned, if you want to take your product to market, is you need access to the customer base. And that's very competitive because you're now entering the international brands that are competing with you, that's got a lot more capital than you, and they can actually outbid you on rentals. So we need to make sure that we get access to South African made product into the right tourism hubs where people that will buy the product, that you can get your product exposed to those markets. And then finally, it's all the marketing, the online, and the promotion of the products, and to create the platform to go international. Those are the areas that I think that the industry needs support. I think there's brilliant talent out there. We have the raw materials. We can beneficiate it in South Africa, and I think we must just look for opportunities and create the value chain and support our value chains in order to become internationally competitive. And that's my story, and I hope you guys find it interesting.
Thank you, Mr. Stefan van As. Now we are going to cross again live to receive a presentation from Mr. Michael Englezakis. I hope we would be able to let's cross now live. Thank you.
Our Premier and all MSCs, distinguished guests, all protocol observed. Allow me to apologize for not being able to attend this very important event in person, as I am still overseas, and to congratulate Honorable Minister Biodiversity and all involved in their efforts to promote game farming, tourism, and all aspects of biodiversity development. Good evening, Honorable Premier and all MSPs, distinguished guests, all protocol observed. Allow me to apologize for not being able to attend this very important event in person, as I am still overseas, and to congratulate Honorable MSC Biodiversity and all involved for their effort to promote game farming, tourism, and all aspects of biodiversity in Northwest. My personal experience in game farming began in 1976 when I started a game farm in the Zeros area. This gave me the opportunity to be involved and to see the wildlife industry develop into the great industry it is today. The initial years of game industry were not easy. Early game farmers had many challenges. They had to deal with population, learn how to handle game animals, and to create a market for their products. These are the same challenges the emerging game farmers and communities involved in game farming facing today. Game farming and all biodiversity projects are difficult and expensive to start, but very profitable at the end. The support from government, conferences and workshops like today's event are very important for the future of biodiversity, not only in the Northwest, but for the country as a whole. Northwest was the first province to recognize the difficulties emerging game farmers were facing. In 2016, I received a call from the Director of Biodiversity and Conservation, Mr. Jonathan Degner, asking me to share my expertise in game farming and game options, and to introduce the emerging game farmers to the industry and the market. With assistance from other stakeholders in the industry and officials from the Northwest Department of Agriculture, Biodiversity and Conservation, we arranged a game auction using animals and hunting packages from Northwest parks, emerging game farmers, and previously disadvantaged communities. The first auction and the other 3 successful auctions that followed did not only expose to the market, but it also provided opportunities to many other farmers and communities, and raised a lot of money with used and still is used very biodiversity projects in the Northwest. The need to involve experts in the industry and get advice from specialists in biodiversity should continue for the industry to thrive and prosper. My family and I were fortunate to be the owners of a grain farm at Croydon, the Philadelphia Airport near Sun City. In 1982, I built game home fence and started the migrant and targeted game auction. The next 28 auctions became very popular in the game industry. Taking advantage of the tourists visiting Sun City of Philadelphia, we started serving as well. The business provided an opportunity to tourists to experience and to see predator animals at a close range. In 2009, after completing market research, we partnered with a Beekman Group and built a Kingdom Resort on a portion of the property. This is the most successful privately owned and financed resort in the Kochalana district. Over the years, we continue exploring development possibilities for the property, including the benefits and needs of the airport and the area. Finally, this year, our market research experts concluded that the area in the airport meets the budget hotel, valued residential accommodation, a commercial center with shops and warehouse space. They also concluded that a section of our property was well positioned and more suitable for the need of the area and the airport. After careful consideration, we have appointed a town planning company which is in the process of claiming that portion of the property for this development. The only challenges we have encountered so far is the high cost and provision of services. Many investors are ready to invest in the project but cannot afford the high cost of service. It is my intention and my return to South Africa to engage the municipality, the Department of the Environment, of Economic Development, and relevant stakeholders for with the services necessary. We are already covering the electricity needs by providing the suitable portion of the property to a company that is ready to invest and build a solar park to cover the project if necessary. The Biodiversity frontier area, which is located within a reasonable distance of native population centers from Victoria, is the most suitable area for tourists and all biodiversity projects in the country. As I'm getting older, I have to take time off to prepare for my retirement. However, from the beginning of 2025, I'll be back in South Africa, in Northwest, as often as necessary to continue working and providing my expertise for the benefit of the game and tourism industry. Thank you for the opportunity to share my experience with you. Enjoy the rest of your evening and good night.
Mike. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mike Anglezakis, for your presentation. I think we have learned a lot from what you've just presented. We talked crocodile, we talked about some land for investment, and now we are going to be talking about horses. And I'm going to call upon to the stage Mr. Hannes du Toit to render his presentation. Let's applaud him as he comes to the podium. Good luck.
Thank you, Dr. Makaila. Appreciate it. Honorable Premier, MEC, distinguished guest, thank you very much for the opportunity for me to come and say a few things about horse racing. Now, if it comes to the technology side of things, that's usually where I bugger things up. But what I do then, because I'm a cowboy, I just shoot from the hip. Oh, there we go, yeah. Well, I have to introduce you to not my whole family, but at least my sons who work with me. We're also in the wildlife industry, but we're also in the horse business. That's my part of the business. They enjoy being PHs. They enjoy the wildlife. Thank you, sir. But me, I'm the horseman. So you can see there's me there with the black shirt and the glove. My one son, my other son, and my other son. So this photo I took on my birthday, because they asked me, Dad, what do you want for your birthday? I said, come ride with me, because they're very lazy horsemen. But again, thank you very much for the opportunity. I appreciate it. I'm sure you can gather from the grey hairs that I still got left on my head that I've been around the block a couple of times. Now, every grey hair that you see is for the right things I did in my life. And all the ones that fell out is for all the mistakes that I made. So if you look carefully, you'll see it's about 50-50. Because I'm not a guy who likes to talk about myself too much. Because if I talk only about the good things, I'm lying. Because I'm not only good, I made a lot of mistakes. So I don't like talking about myself, then I also don't have to talk about the mistakes I made. But I have to give you some background on what I do and where I'm coming from. The industries that I worked in, as you can see, my first one, I started off in the law enforcement, private forensic services. I worked in the medical aid industry. I work in hospitality, restaurant specifically. And that's where I learned what hard work is about. And I also learned the important lesson that it's easy to open a business. It's easy to start anything. I can open a shop now on any corner in the street. But it takes hard work to make sure you get your customer to come into the door. I worked in the tourist industry, I work in the building industry, in the wildlife industry, the skills development. On that part, I'm a horse-assisted educator. I use horses to teach people about themselves. And last but not least, horse racing, the sport I love the most. I was a director there for a couple of years. I'm also a racehorse owner. But I've retired a couple of months ago. I'm also an author. I'm writing books. For me, it's easier to write than to talk. The book that I referred to here is Negotiation and Conflict Management. And you pick up something. I didn't know about your slogan. I saw it when I came up. Let's grow the Northwest together. I love it. Because whatever you do, it's doing things together. And when it comes to negotiation, the part I love about that, it's easy to negotiate, very easy. On one condition, the people you negotiate, you have good relationship with. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to talk to somebody with whom you have a good relationship? That's what it's about. Now you'll see in my presentation, I didn't know about your slogan, and I've used more or less the same attitude, because for me, it's about the together part, and the emphasis is on together. That's what I like. Because alone, you're not going to get far. So there's my book I have to show you, and the other one is coming out in December. But we'll talk about it at some other time. That specific book was published exactly a year ago. I've distributed in the USA 3,200 and what copies, 600 and odd copies in Australia. In India, they like my book there, 451. United Kingdom, 300. 42 in Canada, 17 in Germany, 10 in Italy. Can you believe that? And you can see the rest there. My one that I'm actually proudest of, I've got one in Mexico. It must also be some other cowboy that knows me. We decided, yes, let me buy this guy's book. This is a long story. Let me just get my stuff right. So for me to explain to you what I actually do, I have to tell you a story. Now this story is about a priest, and it goes like this. One day I had a meeting with a very, very good friend of mine, and I had to meet him at the Wimpy restaurant in Rustenburg. And he couldn't make it because he was tied up in another meeting. Thank you, sir. So I decided while I'm there anyway, I'm going to have a cup of coffee by myself then. I ordered a coffee and I sat down and I saw there's a person sitting just opposite me, and he's also sitting by himself. So I thought, okay, well, this guy is obviously also waiting for somebody. So I greeted him. say, good morning, sir. He said, morning. I say, sorry to bother you, but where are you from? Because I'm a regular visitor at Wimpy and I've never seen him. He said, no, it's from Zeerust. So, okay, great. What do you do there? He said, no, he's a priest in the local church. I thought, just a moment. I thought I haven't spoken to a priest in some time. Maybe I can make a confession. So I asked him if I can join him, and I walked over, went to sit at the priest, and he asked me, where you from? I introduced myself. I said, my name is Hannes, and I am from Rustenburg. Priest. So he said, okay, well, that's good. But what do you do for a living? I said, no, I'm a problem solver. The priest stared at me for a while. And he asked me, but problem solver? What made you decide to become a problem solver? I said, number one, because problems solving pays well. That's the first motivation. The second one, where there's problems, there's always opportunities. And that's what makes me a problem solver. And he looked at me and he looked at me just because before the silence became uncomfortable. He said, you know what? I just realized I am also a problem solver. I must solve everybody's problem there in my church. And that's actually what I do. I am also a problem solver. We had a good laugh, we had a nice conversation, and we left. And I want to tell you something today. You know what? If I go from the airport and I drive with a shuttle, I have a conversation with a shuttle driver, it always ends up people asking me, what do you do? And I always give the same answer. I'm a problem solver. That's what I do. And then it's the same silence. And then I get the same answer. You know what? I am also a problem solver. So it looks like we're all problem solvers. That's what we do. I think that's in our nature to solve problems. But the nice part about it, it is not about the problem. The problem actually just challenges us to see the opportunities within it. The problem brings out new opportunities. Just want to get back to my space here where I am. So problem solving presents a challenge that inspires us to create new opportunities. We just need to learn one thing, and that is to work with what we've got. Sometimes we make the mistake by always need something before we can work. And I found it in my house, people where I work with. If I tell my son or sometimes my wife, what about this and that? And she says it's a problem. And I will ask, why don't we fix the problem? The reason why we don't get to the problem, because Hannes, you must first get us a this or a that. So whenever you come with a problem, we first have to buy something to solve the problem. And that's where I'm coming from. We always say, work with what you have. You'll be surprised. Go into your garage and search there. You'll find probably 2 of the things that you want to buy to fix the problem. So we all know that saying, if somebody gives you a lemon, what do? You make lemonade with it. So you work with what you've got and see how far you can get. I don't say never ask, because it's a good skill to have to ask. And you must also never be afraid to ask, because that will bring you the resilience. So here are the opportunities that I want to put on the table when we talk about horse racing. A chance for us to become skilled problem solvers. The opportunity to learn to think outside of the box and ignite creativity. Because if we're going to venture into this horse racing business, you have to be creative. You have to think creative. A pathway for personal and community growth. That is a very, very big and good opportunity that we have. A chance to drive economic development within our beautiful Northwest Province. An opportunity to market the Northwest Province and promote its ecotourism potential outside of our borders and across the ocean. And an opportunity to create a platform to showcase the people of the province, introduce the world to our unique wildlife biodiversity, which is relatively unknown, but exclusive to the Northwest Province. That is actually our product. And there's not many countries that can offer what we offer. So why don't we work with what we have? And that is what we have. That is our jewel that we have. There's not many other cities or provinces within our own country that's got what we've got. There's limited countries. I don't even think out of Africa any other that can produce what we can produce in terms of our wildlife. I think that is our biggest asset. And that asset we must use to run our business. That's the asset we must use to promote ourselves. The opportunity gives us also a chance to explore new industries and turn them into viable economic ventures. And when I get there, I'm going to be quick. It is not a question about why must we bring horse racing to the province. The question is, why don't we have horse racing? In Durban, they make a lot of money with the Durban July. In Cape Province, they've got 2 racetracks. In Durban, they've got 2 racetracks. In Gauteng, they've got 2 racetracks. And the Eastern Cape, they've got 1 racetrack. In the Northwest Province, we have 0. Mpumalanga has got 0. Limpopo has got 0. That's my question. Why not? Why are we not sharing in that juicy cake? I tell you why. They don't want to share the cake. So that's why we will have to work with what we've got and create our own opportunities. It will bring us also opportunities to create jobs, provide employment opportunities for the wonderful people of this beautiful province. And so we can carry on forever and ever of all the opportunities that can come out of a problem. I know what you think, and I think you must be thinking, this guy makes out of it so easy. Well, it's not going to be easy, but together we can make a difference. The emphasis, as I said, is on the statement together. The same statement that I found on the board, and I'm so happy about that. When I get a chance, I'm going to take a photo of it. Because together is what it is about. Together, we can make a difference. Must I get up? Okay, let me solve it quickly. I'm almost done. Thank you, Dr. Mukaila. If we talk about relationships, I just want to take you through that quickly. The relationship that I want to build with government in bringing horse racing to the Northwest Province is not just a relationship. It has to be a good relationship. And if you read my book, you'll learn more about it. But good relationships are built on the foundation of number one, trust, respect, consistency, subtlety, patience, and resilience. If we can get that right, we're going to go a long way. I have to now see where we are. Good. Here's my commitment. I commit my expertise, my resources, capacity, network, and time to collaborate with the Northwest Province. The goal is to introduce horse racing as a means of economic development and ensure its establishment in the Northwest Province. Yes, you hear me correctly, to bring the sport of horse racing into the Northwest Province. And I'm not talking about horse racing that we know of. I'm talking about real horse racing. I've got a video, but I'm going to skip it, see that we don't have enough time for that, but we will make time. And I'm also not thinking about the old racing that we used to. And here's where I'm going to take my 10 pages that's left and just convert it into one paragraph and get straight to the point. The other stuff is very interesting, it will motivate you, it's very nice to know, because in here I can tell you how much money the municipality in Durban make on the Durban July. I can tell you how much job opportunities the Durban to July create. I can tell you what the turnover is on horse racing in South Africa, of which we are excluded, 2.7 billion. I can tell you how much they benefit from the taxes that they raise from betting, which we missing on. There's a lot I can still say. But because of our time constraints, I'm going to bring it back to my actual plan. And I'm going to keep it simple and straightforward. Horse racing as a standalone doesn't work anymore. The people in Gauteng, the people in the Cape, where they have only racetracks, they struggle because they cannot manage to bring the people to racing anymore. It's becoming expensive. Because they did not follow the trend, they didn't actually take note of what is happening overseas. But the perfect model all over the world now is what they call a race-sino. And it's easy to understand. A race where you've got horse racing and a casino combined. So you serve a wider range of customers, and why it helps horse racing, money generated by the casinos can sponsor the horse racing, then you can provide better races, better horses, better jockeys, and in that way you can obviously generate better income. So casino racing is the future when it comes to horse racing. And what's exciting for me is it's something that we don't have. It's a new product, something new, something creative that you can bring in and generate a lot of income that we're not generating now, which will help everybody in the province. I'm going to my last slide now. There's all the reasons why I think it is good, but I'm going to come, the question is where? That's the most important question. And that's the question I want to leave you with tonight. Is there any suggestion, quick, on where shall we do this? Where shall we do this? Mafeking? Mafeking, we will also do one, but the first one. We will do one in Mafeking, we will do one in Lichtenburg. Just as a matter of interest, Ireland is the size of the Northwest Province. The population is our size exactly. They've got 40 racecourses in Ireland. So the question where it's going to be, boom, nowhere else. Hartbeespoort Dam. And there's a specific reason for that. It's close to Gauteng, so we're going to bring the money back from Gauteng. We're going to compete against them. It's close to Lanseria Airport. It's close to the international airport in Johannesburg. And there's a lot of other reasons why. But the best of all, Rantjiesfontein, the horse training center, the biggest and most modern horse training center in Africa, is in Rantjiesfontein. 60 kilometers from Hartbeespoort Dam. So let's stop there. I've still got a lot of stories, but during the night I'm sure we'll have opportunities to talk. I leave you with a racino, and I leave you with an idea of where we're going to put it. And the last thing that I want to ask you, please make sure we do it before Botswana, because they're also calling me to go into their economic zone. That's what I want to do there. But I'm keeping them on the ice because I want to see the Northwest Province do it before them. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the evening.
Thanks. Yeah. Thanks very much, Mr. Hannes de Toit. I think that was a very thoughtful, thought-provoking presentation that we have done. And to me, sitting there, it looks like you are already making certain specific proposals. And I think that will stay with the audience, and we will have to look at it at some point. I'm not committing the administration, but surely somebody will have to really, talk to you again about that and see what can happen or what can be generated. Ladies and gentlemen, we are running behind time, and I think initially I wanted to control the time for the speakers, but at some stage I lost it because once people are here, they want to be problem solvers, they want to create problems, they want us to trust them. Okay, so we are moving towards the tail end of our event, and I'm going to now, with the powers vested in me, really orderly request MEC Bitsa Lenkopane to come to the podium or to the stage to do an introduction to the Honorable Premier. And as she rises, you could applaud her, or you could do anything that is honorable that can be done. MEC Maruna Banakiba.
Let me just get what it's written on your program as the introduction of the Premier. But introducing a person in his own house, it's something else. What I will do, I will not introduce the Premier, but I will rather introduce the Premier to the progress that we have made in as far as this whole program is concerned, starting from this morning and heading towards tomorrow. But to say, I know Honorable Morueng, when he is here, he's going to mark everything that I say, and I might be troubled after this to say, I have not acknowledged him that he is around, and he is here only to check as to whether work has been done accordingly, because we might be arrested tomorrow if something did not go well. So he's here to check such. Now, Premier, when you accepted the office of being a Premier, we noted only a short paragraph that you gave. But in that paragraph, you said you are going to do things different in the 7th administration. You made that commitment to the people of the province. And the time you made that paragraph, we were not sure as to whether when you make that commitment, with who are you going to drive government such that you actualize that commitment. Then a week later, you appointed members of the executive who are going to assist you to run government. I know you did not give MEC Morueng to accept. So times like this, he would want to come and accept and tell you that he is committing himself. But today is the day that we would now have to reveal what you have committed to the people of the province through you being the captain of this ship, through this department. Because this department is a very complex department. I know some of the people who are not conversant Setswana, they might not know the proper Setswana name of this department. Naki bisa mo khosane, you know, it's a combination of all those things that as you bring together, they can bring a better taste, and they can bring life, which is rich, especially with proteins and other things that the body might need. But it does not have tenders. Everything that you get out of this department is what is sustainable, is what is coming from what is around you, is only for those who are committed and are hardworking that they are going to see what is within here. But the nice thing about it, Premier, as I am given this opportunity to introduce you to come here, is that later, after having your government and you members of the executive, you then gave what we normally call the State of the Provincial Address. And 70% of your State of the Provincial Address was actually referring to this department. You said a lot of things, and as I was going through the State of the Provincial Address, I was lined up to come after you, and we had nothing to say because you said everything about this department. And that was actually a homework, and we are going to introduce to you today because this is your surprise party of enjoying with us the end of your 100 days of commitment in office. So we are going to introduce you to the progress that you have made through this department as you reach your 100 days. Because you have sent us men and women who are here to deliver on your behalf, and we have made that commitment. So today, we are going to give highlights on what you have achieved in government through this department. We are going to introduce you, Premier, to these men and women who are here that might not be known to you by names. But these are partners. At least in this room, there's no one who is here to say he is having a CV in the pocket. He is marketing, he wants to be a secretary. No. These are men and women who are here to say, send us. And some of the men and women who are here has actually enabled your government to can make you to proudly say, a lot about the achievements that you can register in your government of the 7th administration. I'll tell you, I would want, I might not be able to call everybody by name, but I would want to let members of the Parks and Tourism Board who are here to just rise. Premier, in the paragraph that you gave, you said you are not going to run government that has got SOEs which are there to suck and always be bailed out and not bringing money and injecting what is due to the government as a shareholder. And you said this department must find a way to turn around the work of the SOEs. And one of the SOEs that are the key drivers of your vision is the Parks and Tourism Board. That's actually where the biodiversity is centralized. Now, the composition of this board is not as always people will think. This board has got a representative coming from the House of the Traditional Leadership, Kgosi Lentswe, representing the House. This board has got a representative from People and Parks, a person who represents the voice of all the CPAs, the province. The person is a chairperson of the People and Parks nationally, is the secretary of the People and Parks in the province, and is sitting in this board to represent the voice of such communities. This board has got men and women who are coming from different backgrounds with the skill of having an understanding of what our communities needs. So we are confident that we are introducing you today in the hands of men and women who are going to register progress. Tonight, Premier, you are sitting with men and women who have completed the task of repealing and coming up with regulations and working towards production of ordinances of the act that has since been produced during the time of Buputjwan, the Biodiversity Act, which we have committed as this department that as you run your 7th administration, it will be repealed. So these are men and women who have already done it, and it is completed. It is going to be tabled in the legislature as a new way of doing things, a new era. And part of what you are being called to do here has already been attended to. So you are introduced to it is ripe, where you are going to say, and you can proudly pronounce it as part of the achievement of your 100 days. These are men and women, Premier, who has already, through this same board, finalized the game donation policy. That has always brought a lot of cloud in this province, and we have hit the ground to say we are prepared to bite the bullet, but we are going to make sure that transformation and development in the space of biodiversity is actualized, and that policy has been attended to. It is going to roll out. It has got a combination of men and women who are going to be beneficiaries, and men and women here who have committed to drive transformation. So, ha re bue ka policy ya gore batho ba utswile diphologolo, Premier. Re bua ka a game donation policy which is full of transformation, which has got the interest of bringing attention to the poor of the poorest, the marginalized, and transformation in bringing the balance to the inequalities. We have completed it, and tonight you can register it as an achievement. It has not happened for all the years since 1994, except that we always had conflicts because there has never been a policy that existed that made us to run the affairs of biodiversity. So tonight we are going to register that. We're introducing you to this party. This is your party, Premier, of the 100 days. That today we are at the verge of completion of the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding with the National Department, land reform, rural development. That thing never happened. We always said officials from this department in this province underutilized, and I can tell you that that has actually made this province to stay with a lot of land acquired but not benefiting our people. So we have taken a decision this afternoon that what the people and parks were saying here, that we are going to hit the ground running by getting to the space of all the land that has been acquired in the protected areas, to look into the concessions, to look into the contracts that are there, including the management and co-management contracts. In the spirit of transformation, you can report it, Premier, that it has been planned for, it is going to be actualized. It's something that never happened in the history of this province. And this today, through this engagement, we are free to say, now you can make a commitment. We are doing that in the spirit of good governance and for purpose of the benefit of our people, empowerment and transformation. Premier, we have a lot that we have registered. We will be here and we're hoping to invite you, because some of the species that we are to make our people benefit from are either extinct or endangered because people are picking them up. Mabodu a rona a tseiwa, Premier, mo provinceng ya rona re ba humi ka mabodu batho. When they come to Sun City, they pick this small organisms tsa rona, like your chameleons. They take them as parcels, they take them to their countries, they export them, and when they got there, they breed them and they sell them back to us very expensively. So we're going to have Mohwantonyana Morrison Hore Arekiswa Teng Mabodu a rona. We want to invite the Premier to join us with all these other species that we feel that they are being disrupted and they are being taken out of the country, and we are the only province that is rich in having such organisms, and it is only us that can rise and say we must protect them. So we are going to have such much, and we are collaborating with Sun City. We will have the Kasi ride with Sun City the following day on Sunday. We know, Premier, you have ordered us that we must bid for the G20, and that's why we have started. These are the men and women who contribute to the beauty of the Northwest, and that makes Northwest to be a unique province that is suitable indeed to can host the G20. So, ladies and gentlemen, the man I'm going to introduce is my homeboy. Besides being my Premier, is coming from the far part of this Northwest, being the Dr. RSM, which is called Bupirim. So, and he is better placed because he is from a township called Huhudi. Now, Nagijwako Tlakhameng, but we are coming from the same district, Dr. RSM. He's a very humble man, very sober, very stable, and is not actually a man that you will easily convince in whatever corner that you want to take him to. He keeps principle. And he might look very simple, but it's not easy for you to introduce your story to him, especially when you are not sure as to whether you will pass the test that he is going to take you through in 3 minutes. To say, and you must be very careful as to how you would want to convince him. Premier, we are introducing you to these men and women who are coming from a pool of points of the country and internationally, different provinces, different departments. They are committed people here who are chief directors. I have always said to you, I have opened an office in 4 ways, just to pull the chief directors and the DGs to agree with them that we must collaborate. So the stage is yours. And feel free to address these people. They are here to support us. They have made a commitment to go with us in our government. Thank you.
Re ka dula mo fatshe bagaetsho. I'm mindful of the fact that re lebeile fa nako e telele bagaetsho. Ke belela le setse re tshwere ke tlala. Therefore, I will not be long. But first, I would like to say the following. In acknowledging the presence of Kgosi Nyalala Pilane, MEC Lenkopane, MEC Moreng, Mr. Arrest, HOD Mafokane, the MMC present, members of the board, the chair, the chair of the People in Parks, CEOs present, senior government officials from the province and national. But I also want to acknowledge the presence of a very important key player in the sector, Ntate Kolile Dashika. I've seen you here, you are acknowledged. You know, when I listened and saw Osimpho Matope and Oslesego, ke ne ke bona Butintswalo. Lo example of a typical Tintswalo. Yano, re go utlwile Rejafta. Re go utlwile Setswana ga se tolokiwe. Re utlwa gangwe fela re bagolo. Hannes, ons het gehoor meneer. Ons sal probeer om te help. The words said by the MEC here of the achievements of the 100 days is not an easy task. But I believe in men and women who are bold and not apologetic to the transformation agenda. You need to be aggressive and have the guts to change the convention. Because if you become conformist, then we must forget about changing the lives of our people. You must be prepared to rock the boat. And I'm saying this is one sector, in my view, which is not transformed to the extent that it benefits our people. So we need to be a little bit aggressive, have tangible, predetermined outcomes that can be audited and be able to be monitored and quantified. So if you don't have that, we become malicious compliance people for purpose of us waking in the morning, going to work. That's not what I'm here for. I'm able to realize that you are not part of us because so we need to be aggressive in this sector. But program director, allow me to say, and I quote, heredity is nothing, environment is everything. Close quote. Heredity is nothing, environment is everything. These are the words of Margaret Cathmore, a character in the seminal novel of one of the most revered African author, Bessie Head, in a title called Maru. Now, I read that book one day and I was, attracted to this catchment. Now, in this book, the author reminds us about the importance of nature and the surrounding environments in shaping our norms ethics, culture, and customs, irrespective of our identities. This means the environment we live in play a crucial or a more crucial role than our heredity. So the environment is very critical. A good environment needs very little motivation, but a negative environment makes motivation hard to sustain. Our biodiversity is therefore important in creating environments that will foster sustainable livelihoods for our people while shaping their ethics to be of great service to humanity and the preservation of our fauna and flora. I'm indeed privileged and honored to be part of this important event centered on a shared common interest for our environment. And I would like to take this opportunity and thank MEC Lenkopane and her team, public entities, as well as sister department for this great initiative. Emanating from this engagement is to see acceleration of various economic opportunities for the previously disadvantaged, and in particular youth, women, and people with disabilities. By expediting these opportunities, we will begin to venture into opening and expanding economic niches that will bring realistic and positive change to the people of this province and address the scourge of unemployment, which is hovering around 54%. Program Director, biodiversity can simply be defined as natural endowments gifted to us by our God and ancestors to maintain the balance of Earth. However, inclement weather conditions due to climate change as a consequence of global warming is strengthening our biodiversity, which over the years has been plummeting. Despite this setback, our province is unique and has a rich base of indigenous biological and genetical resources, making it one of the best tourist destinations in the country and the world. This includes the two beautiful biospheres, which are Magaliesberg and the Mariko Biosphere, which are listed under UNESCO's Main and Biosphere Program. Majestic tourist attraction sites such as Madikwe Game Reserve, Pilanesberg National Park, Barberspan Bird Sanctuary, the Hartbeespoort Dam, the grassland of Dr. Kenneth Kaunda District, the semi-arid lands of the Dr. Ruth Sugumotsi Mumpati, as well as the flatland and mountainous plains of the Ngakamudiri Mulema and Bojanala districts. We have many iconic plant and animal species that have long been integral to our culture, spirituality, and livelihood as Africans, and also highly valued across the world. We have coexisted harmoniously with our biodiversity because we recognize the importance of the interdependent and respectful relationship between humankind and nature. Heredity is nothing, environment is everything. We have just entered the 7th administration, centered on 3 main priorities as per the objectives of the medium-term development program, informed by the statement of intent of the government of national unity, as informed by the National Development Plan 2030. And these are the following: inclusive economic growth and job creation, to reduce poverty and tackle high cost of living, a capable and ethical developmental state. We are therefore duty-bound to respond to these triple challenges of unemployment, poverty, and inequality by strategically positioning the biodiversity industry in a way that will respond to these needs of our people. The development of the regulatory environment that enables the rapid growth in the biodiversity economy and transformation is of paramount importance if we are to address the scourge of unemployment, which is currently hovering around 54%. So the regulatory environment should be in such a way that it allows and makes business very easy for us to attract investors, so that we should challenge this unemployment. Now, in recognition of indigenous knowledge related to this species, traditional authorities in the Eastern Cape, Northern Cape, Northwest, KwaZulu-Natal, and Limpopo has received close to around 29 million on this indigenous knowledge. But as a province, we have been lagging behind in this area. And now I think is the time as the Northwest to increase progress around this area. As a province, we need to be firm that our communities must benefit in a tangible manner where plant and animal species are harvested for commercial gain. Now, it can't be that I was watching television, that we breed and we breed, but the value chain is not in the province. So it's important that where in our province we are harvesting animal and plant, there must be tangible beneficiation, especially when these things are used for commercial gain. So our people must directly benefit. It is therefore imperative that we uncover the full potential of the province's biodiversity economy and make sure that the communities receive equitable benefits for their traditional knowledge, especially when indigenous plant species are harvested, like I said, whether is it for medicine, for cosmetics, or for any other purpose. The sustainable mass cultivation of our indigenous plants species and must support the creation of business, factories, and value chain that allow for end product to be exported to the rest of the continent and abroad. This mass cultivation can also assist the land restoration and rehabilitation, as well as carbon sequestration, which is important in the context of climate change. When it comes to animal species, beneficiation must result in the establishment of community-run businesses, whether is it lodges or game meat butcheries and production facilities. The national game meat strategy that is focused on scaling economic enterprises for communities, for previously disadvantaged individuals, and providing land use patterns that are compatible with conservation, must be seen as a precursor and stepping stone for the development of our own provincial strategy. There are already a number of commercially successful game meat production facilities in the province. We need to grow this market, with job creation being at the center of our developmental trajectory. As with our mineral resources, we cannot simply be mere exporters of our raw materials where jobs and industries are created elsewhere. Jobs and business opportunities must remain in the province, and in particular in those specific communities. This assertion is in line with the recently revised the National Biodiversity Economic Strategy, which is aimed at synergizing our economic and conservation objectives that will lead into a successful biodiversity economy that will ensure creation of economic opportunities for our people. This strategy places the transformation of the biodiversity sector at the center of our work. As I said earlier on, the transformation agenda should be at the center of what we do every day. Rural communities and our traditional leaders must be instrumental in devising new approaches to investment, particularly in community-owned land, for the biodiversity-based enterprise to thrive. So the role of our traditional leaders must not be left out. We must emphasize and applaud that they must be at the center. This engagement presents an opportunity for business entities, conservation management, authorities, previously disadvantaged individuals, and communities to pitch their biodiversity business concepts to potential investors and for the key role players to interact. The potential projects in the biodiversity economy space include investment opportunities with our provincial parks and nature reserves, World Heritage sites, botanical gardens, community-owned wildlife businesses, bioprospecting, as well as ecotourism. Hence, one of the main issues to be discussed here encapsulates the Northwest Parks and Tourism Board commercialization strategy and investment portfolio. This will create an opportunity for the community and potential investors, as well as the industry leaders, to enhance the potential of our parks and nature reserve to be economically viable source of beneficiation for surrounding communities and the province at large. All of these and other various initiatives and projects, such as the CPA governance, as well as their goals, can only be achieved if we work together with all stakeholders. If we work together, we are all following your slogan. If we work together with all the stakeholders and interested parties to enhance the region's reputation as a preferred destination for investment. I wish you a great success in your deliberations as you conclude the engagement. And as Karl Marx once said, and I quote, "Philosophers have only interpreted the world in various ways. The point is to change it." I'll repeat. Philosophers have only interpreted the world in various ways. Sarona, or the point is to change it. Therefore, every little initiative must be solution-orientated in helping us turn the tide against the scourge of unemployment, poverty, which is besieging our community. I thank you.
You may be seated. Okay, thanks very much, Honorable Premier, and also the MEC, having, taken this opportunity just to, reinforce the delivery within the department and also giving matching orders on what needs to happen. So we have now come we are now just at the end of the program, the formal program. We are going to allow people then to, at some stage, go for dining and wining. But at this point in time, I really want to thank everyone that attended, particularly the Premier and the two MECs that are present here. Hosiarona, board members, CEO, HODs, Lebonera Leboha for having attended this. The announcement, led by the Premier and some of the dignitaries that are here, but they will have their they'll dine somewhere at the, I think it's at the, where they were briefed in the morning. Holding room, I think. And then the rest of us, we will have to, exit these premises, the hall, and on the right-hand side, I think their food will be served here. We are going to allow then the dignitaries to leave the hall first, whilst music will continue to play. I don't think they are going to exceed 12 o'clock. So whoever that wants to dance must really do that before 12 o'clock. I think we'll be forced to leave this hall after 12 immediately. The drinks that are displayed, I'm told, is a cash bar. So we are not using, the government resources to, to entertain people and excite people here. But you will be allowed really to, what's the joke now? Problem solver, can you help me here? People are laughing. So I'm also going to thank everyone that has attended this session. This is not the last part of the session, but we know tomorrow work has to continue again. So we'll have to somehow do it reservedly in terms of the entertainment. I'm also thanking myself. I think I've conducted this program very well. I do have a CV here, yes. I'm carrying my CV as well. Okay, so with that being done, I think we can allow now Honorable Premier and the MECs and the dignitaries then to leave the hall while music could continue. Is there anything I left out? Thank you. Program agreeing. Starting time is okay. Starting time 7 o'clock tomorrow. Hi, bye.
Cindy Silvia about Abanunganga Babanang Hangjeng Giponiba Asili Nenya Sila Nemoya Nam Hangjeng Giponiba Asili Nabandutina Sila Nemoya